So with me, let's get social. You know it ain't that hard to do. Let's get social.
Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to Let's Get Social. Put on my comments so I can see. Today, I am hoping that we are going to be doing what I'm calling a palate cleanser, which basically means that it's going to be something that is short and sweet. So I did like a kind of model, I guess you could say, just to get a feel for it because I'm doing something a little bit different. But basically, we're making a belt wallet, which is basically a little wallet that will go be attached to your belt. You can put your credit cards in there, your ID, your cell phone, a smaller size cell phone can fit in here. And so it's, something. And then it has um, a little loop opening right here where you can basically hook it onto a belt, or for my son, I'm actually going to make like a little, where is it? I'm going to make a little strap that he can put around himself and take off. And that way he doesn't need to worry about it, but he wants to have something to run with. And so this is going to be something that he can have his wallet, his phone, and have it tightly strapped to his side while he's running. So that's what we're making today. Hey, Sabs, how are you? Thank you for all your support last Friday. That was so awesome. Thank you. That was like amazing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be making this belt wallet. So I'll just show you closely. I will tell you that the original PDF pattern is set to make it with leather. And I did cut out all the leather pieces. Let me just show you. I did cut out all of the pieces in leather originally, but I realized that it's a no-sew pattern. I mean, you could probably do something on your sewing machine, but it's a no-sew pattern. So I was like, well, I didn't want to, be hand stitching this whole thing, but I am going to make it. And I may even end up giving this one to my son instead of the one that I have made. So this is kind of like my mock-up of it, but it's usable. I mean, it definitely has all the hardware and it's functional. But I definitely had to do a little bit of modifying because, leather is made to have seams exposed. And, I basically stitched some things a little differently so the seams wouldn't be exposed. And then in this one, I did serge everything too, just because where the seams were exposed, I wanted it to have a clean look. So I ended up serging everything. But we're going to try this one. I'm making another one with denim. I made that one with denim. I'm making another one with denim. And we are going to, and I didn't get to serge everything. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. Yes, it's definitely for a good cause, Sabs. That's why I was so inspired to not only do another contribution, but do like the matching. So I was just very excited at how everybody responded, and you just came through big time. So thank you so much for that. Hi, Helen. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for stopping through. So we were just talking about the outcome of Chris's her fundraiser, and everybody just really, I mean, we raised like $400, which included my matching contribution. So I was just shocked because it was such a short time, and everybody just came through, and I was just like, I didn't expect for it to be that much. I was like, donate, but don't make me broke. And y'all did it. Y'all came through, and I was very like, that's awesome. I was like, the way we support each other in this sewing community. It's just, it inspires me every time. Every time. So, but I had no idea that a lot of people were doing it. I thought it was just something that that Chris was doing. I didn't realize that everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people were doing it. So doing these fundraisers for all, different causes. So I was like, that's awesome. I mean, I'm not shocked because, that's the community that we are a part of, that's how we do. So I'm definitely not shocked by it at all. But I did not know because I've been working. I work in corporate, and I was, traveling and, super busy. So this is like, so I haven't been able to be on social media as much as I have been in the past. So I'm just, sometimes this is my day that I get on when I'm not doing, like peeking and being a little nosy. I do try to keep up a little bit. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is I am putting a backing on some of this denim because, as y'all know, denim stretches, and I want to make sure that this has a little bit of structure to it, a little bit. So I'm not doing all the pieces, but I am doing some of the pieces. So for those that just joined or didn't see, we are doing this belt wallet. It doesn't have a belt on it right here. I should get a belt just so I can show you, but it has a little opening that you could put it over a belt. And my son, he has been asking me for a very long time to make him something to keep his cell phone in. So I decided to do, I decided to do this because I'm like, he's going to be running, and I know that's what he wants to. He's doing a half marathon next weekend. So I'm like, I got time. I'm running out of time. So I said, the way that I know I will get to this is to just do it on my live. So next week, we're actually going to be doing something else. We're making my son's Halloween costume. My son. See, look. 40 and slip. My grandsons, we're making my grandsons Halloween costumes. I already got all the stuff for that. He wants to be a avocado. He loves fruits and vegetables a lot. And so he wants to be an avocado. So that is what he's going to be. And I'm going to make him an avocado. I'm still figuring out what pattern I'm using, but even if I don't figure out a pattern, I might self-draft. So I took his measurements yesterday just in case I have to self-draft something. But I got all the fabric. I'm using felt. And yeah, it's going to be really nice. So I'm looking forward. So we're going to be making that. We're making that next week. We're either making that next week or the week after because... yeah, we might be making it the week after, which is the week before Halloween, because next week is going to be a little tight. I'm going to be a little tight on time because my son and my daughter are both running in a race, and our whole family is running with my daughter. This is her first 5K. So my whole family is kind of running with her, and that race is early in the morning on Saturday. So I don't want to be up too late. And then I travel, so I'm going to be out of the loop until next Friday. So and I have to make it then because Halloween is after that. Halloween is literally the following Friday. So we will be making that, not next Friday, but the Friday after next. It's going to be a tight week. I'm going to be gone. I'm just sitting here thinking like, ooh, I'm going to really be out of the mix. So... hi, Gaynell. Hey, Dee. How are you? Thank you for joining. All right, so we got these done. We just got that done. Got this done. So some of these I already did in advance. Okay, we're going to do this one, I think. And are we doing this one? Or might hold off on that one and do this one and this one. And this one is done. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm putting some interfacing on some of the pieces to give them a little bit more structure. We're making a belt wallet and I'm using denim. The original pattern, and here is I made one up already. And just so you can see, it is actually pretty neat. It's got a wallet holder here. I just put 2 slits for the wallet holder. The original had 3. And then you can put your phone or other things inside of here. And I have a smaller iPhone in here. This is my work phone, so it's a smaller one. I think, let me see if I can fit this bigger one in here. Oh yeah, actually it fits both of them. It fits my bigger one too. Let me see if it will close. Nope, it won't close with it. So it won't close. It's not deep enough for the Pro Max Plus or whatever it is, whatever the largest one is. That's my personal phone. But my work phone, it slides right in there. And oh, wait a minute. Maybe it will. Nope, it won't. Because this is for this. And this is for this. Yeah. So it's not going to fit the larger one. You have to probably extend it by a 1/2 inch in order for it to fit the larger one. But that's an easy fix if that's something that you would need to do. But this is the original. And then again, it has, you could definitely, it came with like loops, so you could put a strap on there. I took those off. I did not include that in here because my son's not going to be doing that. So this is all meant to go on a belt. So that is what we are going to be making today. And I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. In that it's meant to be, the way it's designed is for leather, which, you don't have to worry about the ends, the raw edges. And so I serged all these pieces. I serged all of this before sewing it together. But even then I did fold some pieces in. And this time I think I'm going to serge it, but I'm going to have the raw edges out. And so after it's all complete, anything that's still exposed, I'm going to serge it just to see, how it looks. And then I showed you that I already cut the leather. So I am going to sew the leather one, but it's a hand stitched. So it's a no sew pattern. So yeah. And I'm just grabbing all my scraps of interfacing. Losing my voice again. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be, I think the serge edges will give it a nice little, something a little different. So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to turn out. And, worst case scenario, if it doesn't turn out great, I already have one that's fully functional and made. And I'm going to also make the leather one, which is, it's a no-sew pattern. So, and pretty straightforward. It's I should say a no sewing machine pattern. They do use a lot of glue in that one too. So the sewing is actually not functional. It's more aesthetic in the original pattern. It's like just a stitching that is put on. So they use glue for the, hold all the pieces together. And you could totally do that with this too. But I use a glue a little bit, but not as much as they did. I definitely use my sewing machine. All right, so we got that piece, and then I got one more piece I want to add this interfacing to. And I think we're going to be ready to rock and roll. Hey, Risha. So it is, the pattern is a, I have to see what the actual, it's called the, this is the actual pattern. I mean, the company is Noble. I bought it off of Etsy, and it's called a leather neck bag. That's the actual name of it. But you make a bag, you make, in this single pattern, they include, a belt strap. They include a strap so you can like wear it like a crossbody. But I'm not doing any of the straps. I'm just doing adding the belt piece onto it. But you can wear it actually several different ways. In the way that, in all of that they give you for, like, they include like 3 straps basically to give you the room to wear it as a crossbody, wear it as a purse, basically to wear it in a couple different ways. But we're gonna make it as a belt bag, which is one of the ways that they have for it to be, made. Hey, Anthony, see, I'm making, look, it's all done. But we're making another one. So here it is. That's my son. Phone is in there, see? Credit card, ID, and then I'm gonna make you a strap so you can, like, I was thinking about doing it with elastic too. That's the other thing I was thinking about, is making the strap with elastic. That way it could be like tight, and making the loop wider. So so we'll see. I do have some 2-inch elastic. But that's the last thing step. I'm not gonna do that online, but it is something that could totally be added. All right, I think after I push this piece on, we will be ready to go into our first steps. All right. So let me move this iron out the way. I don't think we're going to need that for a minute. Looking for my hat paper towel, but okay. Let me just cut this down a little bit. Like small part of me wants to serge this ahead of time, but I think we're going to try to serge after the fact. We'll go with that. All right, and now I'm just putting my markings on. This does use 3 clamps. Where's my... Oh, here it is. So it uses 3 magnetic stamps and let me just show you. So you have one right here, not 3, sorry, 2, and one right here. So to close this, and then to close that. So we're using 2. And so as a result, I got to carry over okay. So I'm just carrying that over. All right. Okay. And this one also has markings that show you where you're going to put on your belt strap. So I'm just going to transfer these over to, actually I need to put them on this side. So I'm just making a marking here to give me a good estimate. But you don't have to be exact with this belt strap, long as it's centered, and you can make it as wide, well, not as wide as you want, but you can make it wider, which is one of the things I'm thinking about. And I actually already have a wider piece because I thought about, is this my wider piece? Yes, here is my wider. So this is the belt piece, and you can see it has these two little areas. This is where they want you to have these, put your triangular buckles so that you could hook a strap onto. So you would basically be just folding them down and stitching them and then creating like a little loop. I don't know if you can see that, but basically that's what they want you to do with these two little pieces. So, but I cut them off because I'm not doing that for this particular one. And then here's my wider piece. So if I were to do it, I would do it like that. And again, just making it wider. So if I did a 2-inch piece of elastic, it would fit right in there. I would stitch it at the top, stitch right here, and then, be able to, and that would just basically give it more security, like as he's running, make it a little bit more secure because you're pretty much taking this whole bottom half and stabilizing it to, his body. So I think that I'm pretty confident that's what I'm going to do in this piece. But for now, we're going to just leave this right here. And I think, I do need to transfer a piece over here. And I do need to put a piece of interfacing at the top because I have a buckle that goes into this piece. And look at that. I got a nice little piece of interfacing that's going to go right here at this top part. Anywhere you're putting a buckle, you definitely want to have a piece of interfacing because, especially on this, because it's stretched denim. It doesn't have a whole lot of stretch, but it's enough where you won't have the stability or the structure that you need. So I am going to put this on here to give me a little bit more structure. Hi, Diane. How are you? Thank you for joining. For those that are just joining, I will give y'all an update from last week. And I'll repeat it a couple of times because I know not everybody gets on at the same time or stays on. So I just want to make sure anybody who participated is aware of the outcome. But last week, Unsocial or Chris, she got on and I was asking her about her fundraiser that she's doing. She lives in a Caribbean island and she decided to do a fundraiser to teach young people how to sew. And so she was trying to raise money to get equipment, sewing machines, and, you know, to cover the other expenses of bringing the, you know, the kids together or young adults together to teach them. And I had donated already throughout the week. And so I was asking her, you know, how things were going and whether the fundraiser was still open. And she shared that it was. And so I, you know, challenged people who were on the live to donate. And I said I would match their donations that were done during my live. And y'all just showed up and showed out because we raised collectively $400 in that like 20 minutes, because it was literally at the end of my live when we got the link. And so I was just, you know, again, not surprised, but just totally inspired that, you know, everybody would step up. But that's what we do. So I just wanted to say thank you and make sure that everybody knows like what the outcome of that was, because Chris was thoroughly just so overwhelmingly happy with, you know, what happened. And of course I didn't plan it, and so of course she didn't know anything and I didn't know. I was just like, you know what, this is something I felt compelled to do and wanted to do because it's a good cause. I had the ability to learn how to sew when I was in elementary school, or not elementary, I'm sorry, middle school. We had home economics. And I mean, we weren't using sewing machines or anything. Oh, yeah, maybe we did. I'm trying to think. It wasn't anything extensive, but it was still just the exposure. And then I was fortunate enough that I have a family member who is also an amazing sewist. So I had exposure that route as well. But I think that, you know, this is something that has the ability to, you know, be, I'm not going to say you know, change someone's life, but it definitely can add value in what I believe is a significant way. So the fact that she's doing this, I think, is amazing. Okay, and here we go. We have our other piece. I'm just trying to make sure all our markings are on. And everywhere that we have a snap, we need to make sure there's interfacing, which I think we have done at this point. All right, I think we got it all together. And I think when I was cutting this, my pattern moved around a little bit because this is not 100% aligned. So I'm gonna have to fix this a little bit. Trying to figure out the easiest way to fix this. Let me put this back into alignment. All right, here we go. It's just off a little bit, and I'm gonna make sure it's all lined up. All right, there we go. And I hate when that happens. My pattern definitely moved when I was cutting this because it's crooked. So I have to fix it, otherwise my bag might be crooked. And I didn't realize it till just now when I'm trying to put these markings in. All right, that is much better. Okay. I am doing so good, Diane. I cannot I cannot complain at all. At all. Okay, let me try this one more time. Yes, okay, there we go. Okay. I think we have done everything. So this, this, and I don't need that. Okay, and here is these. Okay, let me talk to you. Walk you through what we're going to do. I'm just going to push this on the floor. I can sweep it up or vacuum it later. So there are 7 pattern pieces that we're going to deal with. 3 of them are fabric. They give you this one single piece that you're actually going to cut into 3 pieces, and this makes your what's going to hold your cards in your wallet. So we're going to use this first, and then the second piece that we're going to use is the actual piece where we are going to put our credit card into. And I actually pulled out my exact credit card, well, a credit card, to make sure it does fit. And I've already kind of prepped this piece because I did it a little bit differently. One, because like I said, I'm using denim and not leather. And 2, I wanted to make sure before I put this whole thing together that it can actually fit a credit card in it, which it can fit a credit card in it. So in both of the slots, I wish that I would have moved one lower, but that's neither here nor there because this one does kind of bump up against the, what do you call it? The snap. So it's going to be difficult for you to use. You just basically will end up using this bottom one for the most part because, like I said, this one does bump up against the slot. I did also, to make sure this doesn't fray, because again, this pattern was made for leather. I basically did like a buttonhole, stitch around. I did basically 2 next to each other, and then I took my seam ripper and put a little slit in the middle of it. And that's how I made sure that this won't fray and that it's kind of got some stability to it. So I did that ahead of time. So that is done on this smaller piece. And so the next thing that we are doing is we're actually taking these fabric pieces, and I'm still using the denim pieces. And on the opposite side, on the wrong side of this, we are taking these denim pieces and we are laying them basically right on top of it, but inside. So it's going to fit inside of inside of this wallet piece. And that's just basically so that when you sew up the sides, it's not all this extra bulk. And what they do is they actually glue these pieces. So they glue it at the top and then they glue it at the bottom. That's what they do. You can definitely sew around it, but the sewing will show, well, actually, yeah, it will show through depending on what you use. I have black thread, so you could use it as like a design feature or not. When I used this let me show you, E600 is what I used to, I did glue this one. I did glue them. You can't really see it because it's on the inside of here, but I did glue it on this one just to kind of, see like, hey, how would it be? And so I don't think it really matters whether you glue it or you don't. The only thing is that you know, your thread potentially will show through on this one side. So it's really up to you whether you want to use this or you want to glue it. But if either way, what you're going to do is you don't have to do the sides at all. You're just going to do the top and the bottom. That's it. And you are going to be before you sew the bottoms, you want to make sure you have both of your pieces on. So you want to put the bottom one on first. And again, it's going to be like, you're going to have it right above this. And you will just do a stitch right across the top, just like that. So here's your opening. You want to just go right above your opening. So like that. And then you're going to put this one on. You'll sew this one across the top. And then you're going to sew down the bottom. And I would actually sew, before you sew this one on, I would sew the top one on, because you don't want to sew it here, and then that's going to make this one too short and not work. So let me just show you. I'm going to sew it, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. And this is a little different than the instructions, because remember, I mentioned that the instructions are made to do this with leather. And so obviously that's why they use a lot of glue, because you can't punch holes in all of the pieces of leather by sewing it. So that's why they use glue to construct a lot of this instead of sewing it. But in our case, we can totally sew it because we are not using leather. Main things, again, are to make sure that this piece sits in the middle. It's not a deal breaker, but it'll make you have less bulk when you are going to sew together, because this is a lot of pieces that if everything goes to the end, you're going to have like 6 pieces that you're going to be sewing through unnecessarily. So you don't really need to do that. I'm also doing, back stitching a bit. Making sure I don't have any problem with anything falling apart. Okay. Yeah, and see, you can't really see it in my case because it's black. And then I'm going to take another piece. So I've sewn this one on just at the top. That's it. And then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to sew it right above the next opening. So here's the top. I'm going to sew it right above the top. Again, making sure it's fitting in the center. So now I have this one. You can see if I were to where's my credit card? So I could put my credit card in here. There we go. So my credit card fits in there perfectly, or the bottom one. My credit card fits in there perfectly. And now when I'm sewing this one, I'm not going to sew it down to this bottom piece. I'm going to sew just these 2 pocket pieces. And I'm going to sew this one right at the bottom. And then I can sew this bottom one all the way across the bottom here. So, and that way that one will still be able to, both of the credit cards slots will still work. Again, on the first one I did use glue. I used the glue just because I wanted to kind of test it, get a feel for it. And so you can see it fits, it's right above that bottom. And this is right on the inside. You can't really tell, but it's on the inside. So, and the credit card will fit in both of these. Here's one. That's the top one. And here is the bottom one. So it fits in both of them. Not a problem. Okay, so now we have finished that. We are done with this piece. And the next thing that we are going to do, move that to the side, is we're going to put our snaps. So I'm grabbing this piece and I am grabbing this longer piece. Both of these get a snap. And let me just make sure. Okay, here we go. Okay, we did that. Okay. Okay, so actually we are putting our snaps in, but let me tell you all the places that we are putting them. And I just have these like instructions here to make sure I'm telling you, people have figured out, creative ways to protect their intellectual property, and I'm not mad at them. One is not putting printable instructions out. So you have to either look at it online or watch a video. So they will give you, you can buy the pattern, but they are not making it easy for you if you were trying to misappropriate their property. They're like, we are not, you got to watch this video, or you got to just look at it online. And so you saw that the last time we did a PDF with Mood, the instructions were not printable. This one, the instructions are on a video, so they just kind of go methodically through each step. So it's no printing to it. So let me see, they might have no, they don't even give you like the timestamp so you can skip through. But luckily, it's not a long video. They go pretty quickly through it. So as I need to, okay. So okay, so for this piece that we just created, where we added the little fabric pieces for our credit card, you can't see them because I use disappearing ink, but it's still there. Let me just mark it a little bit. And let me just make sure it's lining up. Okay, so what I do is I take my seam ripper and I stick a hole in here. Not a big one, just a little one, actually, really little. Just enough to make a little hole. I use my seam ripper. And then I am getting I'm using I believe that it is this piece. Can you see that? Is it? Let me make sure. Nope, wrong one. It's this piece. So I'm using, after I made my little hole, I am just going to use a little pressure and poke this through. But I make the hole small because I want it to be tight once it's through. So I feel like if I make the hole big, it'll be wobbly. So I push it through and it's just like exactly the size. So it takes a little bit more effort, but not much. Okay, there we go. So then I take this little silver piece and I will use that on the wrong side to lock it in place so that it really can't move. So then that's in place. So we put that one on, and then we're taking this piece next. This is the main part. So this piece, you're actually going to do two things. One is this longer piece, you're going to fold the bottom across, and I'm actually going to stitch it. So you could finger press it, or you can press it and then iron it, which is what I'm going to do. And then I folded it down, and then I'm just going to do a stitch right across this bottom piece. They use glue, because like I said, because they're using leather, they actually use glue on this, but we're going to make a little single stitch, and then I do a back stitch in the beginning and the end. And that looks like that. And that's how it looks on the other side. And as you can see, we have two little dashes there. And that is, let me see which ones I'm supposed to use. Okay, it's this one. All right. So then I'm going to take and just stick a little hole in them. Again, I don't make the hole really big. I just make it just enough to get these little prongs through. You can see those. And let me see which one I need to watch this because I need to see which one they put where. Like whether it's this piece or the other piece, because we do use a couple of them throughout. They not put it on yet. Okay, they don't put it on this one yet. The next ones they put on are, so we're going to put that one to the side. And I want you to get, well, if you were doing it with me, you would be getting out this one, which is the long piece with the little pointed, and you're getting this, your little pointed piece, because these two pieces fit together like that. And let me just actually take, so they fit together like that. A snap only goes on this piece, and then it ends up getting attached to this piece. So it will be like that. So let me get this piece, and it is, okay, so it is this one. The one that has the little piece sticking out is what's going to be going in here, and it's going to go on this side. So I'm just sticking this in here, my little hole that I made. If I could find it. This is what happens when you make a little teeny hole. Maybe I didn't make it. I think I did it on the other one, not on this one. Okay. Yep, there we go. All right, one, I think one down. And one to go. Come on. All right, there we go. So I've gotten it on there. And now I just need to take one of these little silver plates, put it on the back. And here we go. And then this piece is going to go on here. So what I did, just to give you an example of what I did, and they glued these pieces together. But what I did when I did the first one is I did them right sides together and I turned it out is what I did. So it has this like finished. But because remember I said this time we're going to do something a little different, I'm just going to serge the whole outer raw edge of this bag. And the way that it's made, you will be able to do it because you're sewing everything. So it's going to have this like protruding raw edge all the way around. So it's not going to be difficult to serge it because it'll already be like sticking out. It's going to be just the raw, edges. So what I'm going to do is I am going to basically just do a stitch around from this side, like this part right here. Let me just show you from this way. So from this part up here all the way around at the edge, I'm going to basically do an edge stitch, and then when we're done the whole bag, I will stitch the whole thing from all the way around. I'll put it under the serger. I put my my little serger knife down as I was doing it because I didn't want no problems. So what I'm about to do right now is basically just do an edge stitch all the way around, and make sure that these raw edges are lined up as much as possible. The whole intent is for these two pieces to be exactly the same. So yeah. So line those raw edges up as much as you can. And anything that's not perfectly lined up, if you serge it, you should just serge it on off when you serge it. And I'm just using my edge foot. Ooh. I went all the way to the edge. Too close to the edge. It came out. So this one, I'm really following the instructions much more closely to what it's like when doing it with leather because I am going to serge all the way around. So we'll see if it looks better, neater, not neater. All right, so I have this on, and I'll put this to the side, and they're just gluing it, which we're not doing. Okay, so then before we pick up this piece, they are having us attach our, oh, here it is. They're having us attach our buckle piece. So I am going to, as I stated, I want to do it a little bit wider. So I'm literally just going to go across the bottom. But what I am going to do is I am going to do right sides facing across this bottom, and then I'm going to flip it up so that it has a finished edge. So let me do that. And I'm probably going to make 2 rows of stitches on this just to make sure that, and I'll back stitch. Did I not line that up? I did, okay. And now I'm doing another row just because I don't want no problems. Yes. So basically it's going to, once I stitched it down, I'm going to fold it up like this. And now I'm going to stitch. I'm going to fold this top piece under. And I'm going to do a nice, neat top stitch. Yep, and there we go. It's done. It is a done deal. So the belt loop is on. This is the back side. This is the side that's going to actually go to your body. And this is also, if you were doing the loops, the strap, this is where you would have had those 2 little pieces sticking out of this piece, and you would put the triangular little metal pieces on where your belt, where your strap would fit, but we didn't do that. So the next thing is, now we're coming back to this piece, which is our main piece. And what they're doing with this piece is, on the leather, they actually glue these pieces to the other pieces. What I did was fold them and press them. So basically you have these pieces that kind of naturally stick out. We're going to fold them in and press them. And I kind of finger press them first and then just press them. And then we get to what is a little bit of a tricky part. And I'm going to use a couple of clips just to hold this down too. Because we're going to still be working with this. And let me see what piece is that. Okay. We are also going to be making our hole here to put in our magnetic. Okay, so for this one, we are using another one of these ones. So it's another one that looks like this. So what did I do with my, oh, here we go. Hey, Miss Alethea, how are you? Oh, I already made my holes in here. Okay. We're making a little wallet, belt wallet. Making this for my son, who's been asking me to make him something forever. Okay, so I have it in there, the piece. And all right, there we go. There you go. And that's what it looks like on the wrong side. And now we are taking this piece. This is the piece where we put a little piece of interfacing at the top. And we're going to also put the other side. So let me find that. Okay, here's the inside. So this side is what is going to go on this piece. Did I put my hole in here? I think I did. I did, okay. It's always hard because you got to find where you put the little hole and then push it through. Hi, Gaynell. How are you? Happy Friday. Okay. And one more. Got one side in. Get the other side. Anybody sewing anything this weekend? Okay, here we go. Put my little, and anybody making any Halloween costumes for themselves or other people? Okay, there we go. Is that piece? We're going to see. I didn't interface this whole piece this time, so we're going to see if that's going to be a problem or not. But we'll find out soon. So I think we actually have put on all of our snaps. Okay, so this is the part that's a little tricky. So I got to make sure I'm looking. Okay, that and that. Okay, so these pieces, they actually glue them together, like wrong sides facing. Oh, see, I see I'm gonna have the same problem that I had before. So wrong sides facing, they glue these pieces together. What I did was I serged them all the way around. So in order to be able to do that, I ended up having to take this piece out, serge it, and then put it back in. That's what I did when I made the other one. But if you have leather, clearly you're not going to do that. You would just glue them down like this. I think I am going to serge it. Yeah, I think I am going to serge it. So I'm going to take this little piece out. It's not a big deal because the holes are there. I wish I would have realized that. I would have been like, oh, let me serge this, but I forgot until I watched this video. So let me, whew, boy, this is hard. Once you get that piece down, so the good news is that it's not gonna. So I'm taking it out, my little metal piece from there, and I'm just going to serge around this top piece, and then I'm gonna put it back in before I serge the sides together. So let me just. I'm sewing buttonholes on my your past due shirt dress. How did the wedding dress go? How was that you were working on? Or you were doing something for a wedding dress, I think, if I remember correctly. How did that go? Were you able to finish that and it turned out the way you wanted it to? I'm sure it did. I'm sure that it did. Again, when I use the serger on this, I have put down the knife. So that way I know I'm not going to be cutting off anything. That's just what I did. It's telling me, make sure you put your... Okay, I'm just going to show you what I did. So I basically serged these pieces together. And then I'm going to put the snap back in here because it won't fit under the serger because it's too close to the top and the serger foot, the presser foot. So I have to take it out. Oh, did I do it the wrong way? Oh, no, this was right. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. So now I'm just putting it back in. You said it turned out beautiful. I know it did. I know it did. Okay. So now I serged this top and you can see like this won't get underneath the presser foot. That's why I take it out. And so now I'm just going to finish serging along this side. And I'm going to serge all the way along this side. one side down. Now I'm going to do the other side. All right, both sides are serged. So that is how it looks with the both sides serged all the way around. Okay, so that is done, or this particular piece is done. And like I said, when they use leather, they actually just glue them wrong sides facing each other. And then they do this aesthetic stitch of a contrasting color all the way around, which you could do to this too. We're not doing that, but you could totally do it. All right, so now, are we getting back to this piece yet? Okay, so now we have these three pieces. These are our three pieces, and we're getting ready to literally put the three pieces together, which is when I said, remember I said, oh, there's like a little tricky part. This is the tricky part of making sure that you get these pieces together in the right order, because there are three pieces. So, okay, so this piece and this piece. Okay, so, no, it's this way. This piece and this. Nope, wrong thing. Okay. Once I figure out which two pieces we're sewing together first. Okay, here we go. We're sewing together this piece and this piece first. So let me take these clamps off, since we got our piece kind of folded. And we are doing, let me see which side it is. So this side. Okay, so it's this piece and this piece first. Okay, yep. So we are going to sew. Okay, so here is our piece that has the outside piece with the belt loop on it. And here is our, this is kind of the front piece, so to speak. We are going to take the right side of this piece and sew it down across the top or across the center. So if you had to look at these two pieces, this is how you're sewing it together. And it's literally going to be centered, and then you're going to do a stitch right across this bottom part. They glue these pieces, but because we don't need to glue them, and you totally could, but we're going to just sew them right across the bottom of that. And this is the bottom. The more room you kind of leave, this is like, you don't have to be precise on this, but it's meant to have this little opening around here. But this is where your potentially where your cell phone might fit at once this is all closed. So what I did was I basically drew a little line where I wanted the bottom of this to go to come, and then I just stitched right across to make sure that it fit in there. Also to make sure it was centered, so that the edges will line up. All right. And oh. This is going much quicker than I thought it was going to go, but again, this is my second time making it, so that always happens like that. Okay, here we go. And I'm doing a back stitch too, in the beginning again, just to make sure that nothing falls apart. So this is what it would look like once it's stitched together. And this is what it looks like on the wrong side. So you do have this kind of raw edge on there. So let me just see, what did I do on this side? Oh, so when I did this one, this is one of those areas where I sewed it together right sides facing and then flipped it up. So that's what I did when I did this one. So this might be one of those areas where we might do that, because I don't see any other way that we will be able to fix this raw edge. So I think I'm going to do that for this part. I think I'm going to take this out and do exactly what I did on the first one. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I don't need to. Yeah, I don't need to, because actually this piece is going to go on the top of there. This piece right here. So this piece is where I will do that finished edge. I'll fold it to the wrong side, because otherwise there won't be a way. So I'll do it on this end, on this piece. So I think we're good to go. Okay, we'll leave that as is. And yeah, so that's what. Okay, so then we have this piece, and that's where I was saying, let me make sure. And yes, okay. So let me just pause that. Yeah, this is the part where I said, oh, I got to make sure I pay attention so I don't get it wrong. Okay, so here's what we have now. This is what this looks like. Then this piece right here, this is our credit card piece. We are going to be attaching on here, onto wrong sides facing, or I guess right sides. Both sides are right sides, but the credit card side should be facing towards the inside. You should not be able to see it from the outside. But what, instead of just, they glue this straight down, but instead of us doing that, I'm actually going to sew this to this little piece that's sticking out. I'm going to sew it right to that piece, so it will basically create a finished edge on that piece. So the way I'm sewing it is basically the credit card side, the credit card opening side should be facing out. That's basically the way I'm going to sew it. And I'm centering it and this is probably another place where it would be good to have the, serge it at the end, or when I serge it all the way around at the end. But for right now, we're going to attach this piece here, and then I will be serging this piece to give it that finished edge. Hey, Lala. How are you? Happy Friday. And I'm just going to do a second row. Even though I know I'm serging this, I'm going to do another row. Because why not? I'm doing them like very close to each other. It's just like a second stitch. But this is what it will look like. It'll have that now finished edge. Okay, and so then that should close on that like that. And I believe the next step is to combine these. So I just want to repeat this again for those that are, I don't see, we have some newer people that just joined. And just, I want to say thank you to everybody who donated to Chris's fundraiser last week. We collectively raised $400 for Chris. And for those that don't know, Chris on Sewcial is doing a fundraiser so that she can teach young adults or young people how to sew. She lives on a Caribbean island. And so she's raising money to buy sewing machines and supplies and cover some of the cost of being able to do that. And so I had donated a couple weeks ago, and then last week I had asked her, was she still raising money? She said yes. So we, at maybe the last 15, 20 minutes of my live, I had Chris give us the link, and people donated, and I said I would match all the donations that came in during my live. And like I said, we raised $400 in like 20 minutes. And I want to say a huge thank you, because many of the people that were on donated, and it was like in that little bit of time, I was very nervous because I had no idea what it was going to be. So I was very nervous about it, but I was happy at the same time. It was like a happy, nervous energy. But I just want to, one, share that with you, those that were on, just so that you had that update, but also those that weren't on, just because it just once again shows how our sewing community shows up for each other, how we support each other and the things that we're doing. And this is just a perfect example of that. And so I just want to share that, with everybody, because it's just, I don't know, it just really inspired me. So I just really wanted to share it. Yes, Miss Alethea, it was so awesome. I was nervous, but because I was like, oh my goodness, what did I just get myself into? But I was happy at the same time to be able to help, Chris. And I was happy because I was like, okay, we not playing. We know, what it means to support each other. And we definitely came through and did that. So, all right. So we are to the last part, which is literally to sew these edges together. So y'all remember we have folded this piece down. on this side. And now, and I'm going to actually do this on the serger, as I had said I was going to do before. But I think what I might do is stitch it down first and then put it on the serger. I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to see how it looks, but that's the plan, to stitch it down and then put it on the serger. I think that might make it easier to put it on the serger. So once it's all serged and said and done, this is basically what it's going to look like. Let me put this clamp down. So this is what it's going to kind of look like. These will be, you know, this will all be serged all the way around. You know, this opens up here, and then we have this part that opens up down here. And then of course your phone fits inside this part. And then you have the credit card part. But yeah, so let me sew this down. And then for those, here is the one that I made already with the, you know, credit card opening and the cell phone opening. And the only thing that I didn't do, which I'm not going to do on live, which is create the strap, but I do already have, I actually have quite a bit of strapping from, you know, I don't know, I bought some from when I was like thinking I was going to make a whole bunch of, oh, you know when I bought it? I bought it when we started making those, with those little pouches, Nikki's pouch and Dee's pouch. I bought all this like different kinds of like hardware and straps and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look through there and see. But I want my son to have something tight because he's gonna be running, and I want it to be able to be like tight to him. So this one, I'm actually gonna use probably like a 2-inch tight elastic. And then I'm gonna attach this hardware to it. I got it around here somewhere, but I'm gonna make that offline. So anyway, for right now, we're gonna finish this, and that's it. I said 90 minutes, and we literally are right there. That was my goal. I was like, I'm gonna finish this in 90 minutes. And I think that I have almost done that. Come very close. All right, let's see. Let's get this down. Line up these raw edges, and let's get this down. So hi, Carol. I got this pattern off of Etsy. So what I'll do is I'll drop the link to the pattern on Instagram. I'll put it on my posts on YouTube, so that way anybody who is interested in getting it can know how to get it. And you know, the one caveat I will say is that it is made for leather. So the challenge obviously is that leather already has finished edges, that, you know, raw edge is a finished edge. And so what I did when I made this one is I serged I did this in denim, and I used interfacing to give it structure, and I serged all the edges. That's how I got the finished edges on this one. And I'm doing something similar. And then I did some like right sides together when I sewed some of the pieces when I made this one. But I do. Okay. But I also cut, I think I showed y'all, I cut it in leather already. And so I am going to make this leather one. It's made to be glued. The leather is, you know, it's glued together. And this glue does work. Y'all probably know that, but This glue does work. So it's made to be glued together. That's how it's actually constructed. And then the stitching is a hand stitch, but it's more aesthetic, just like a top stitch. But it doesn't actually hold anything. I mean, it supports it, but it's not like a foundational stitch. All right, look at that. That is so great. So once I serge this, which I'm about to do right now, you will see it will go from like a raw edge where you can see the interfacing, and I'm using a black serge thread. It will just give it this finish edge, kind of like what you see on this bottom one where I've serged it. So let me show you that. Do these 2 quick serged pieces so that you can see. Again, I'll just remind people that I did put my serger knife down so I don't end up with any problems with, you know, it accidentally cutting any of the fabric. I mean, I guess for this part I could really put it up, but to make sure that the interfacing is not exposed too much, because it's white and, you know, you won't be able to see it. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this off. So I'm just cutting this, and like that little interfaced edge, that little part, I'm just cutting it off because it's not pretty. If I had put my serger knife up, it would just chop it off. But because I don't have it up, it's not. So I'm gonna do this side again. And it'll give it that, you know, nice little finished look, I think. Okay, one side down. I'm also going to do around, let me do this side, and then I'm going to do around the edges, around the, sorry, the top. And then that's it. All right, let me just do this one more time. All right, and now I'm just doing around the front, the top part. All right, I think we have accomplished this bag or this belt wallet. And this is what the edges look like after they have been serged. And again, this bottom is meant to fit open. Let me take my cell phone out of here, and I'm gonna put it in here just so you can see what it looks like. And Let me put, where's my credit card? Here's my little credit card. Put this in here. So credit card is in there. So put the credit card in, and I've snapped it up so it's inside this little piece right here. Put the cell phone in. And let me see if this one was any bigger. No, I mean, literally, if I moved this up like a quarter of an inch, it would close. Or if I made it a little bit deeper, it would close. So this is the Pro, what is it? Pro Max, whatever, the largest one. So it definitely fits the smaller iPhones in there. Without any modification. You just need to add a very small amount to make it fit the larger size iPhone or smartphone. But this is what it looks like. And like I said, I am going to create an elastic belt for my son for this one or this one of these two, so that he can be able to have it, keep all his stuff on him, run, but have it really attached to him. And maybe he'll wear it like under his clothes, like strapped to him, because I'm going to use a 2-inch strap. But yeah, so this is it. This is it. And again, this was made with denim, interfaced. And the only thing left to do is just make the strap that's going to go. But if you have a belt, you could definitely wear it on a belt. But because I know he's going to be running, he's not going to be wearing for a belt. And I may end up giving him the leather one just because that might be a better suit. But yeah, this was a really quick. You see, we finished in 1 hour and 38 minutes. Thank you, Risha. Hi, Armina. Thank you. So I will make sure that I post a link to the pattern. I'll post it on my community tab on YouTube, and I'll post it in my I'll probably just put it in my stories too, but I'll put it in our little group chat on Instagram too, so that way if you want to do it. And then when I finish the leather one, I will show you, and when I finish the belt loop, I'll show you that too, just so you can see if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, this is a nice little something for him to be able to carry his cell phone in, carry his ID, carry a credit card while he's doing his race. And my thought is, I want to make it tight enough so as he's running, it's not like jumping up and down. So I'm going to put I'm going to use one of these adjustable, I have a bigger one, but I'm going to use one of these little adjustable pieces so that he can make the strap fit his body too. So I'll work on, that'll take like 10 minutes to put that together. I just got to find all my hardware and where I put all my accessories. I got them in one of these bins up here. So we'll figure out where it is. But that is it. We are done. And so I got to figure out what we're doing next week. But the week after that, we are going to make my grandson's Halloween costume. He wants to be a avocado. So let me see. Let me show y'all my inspiration. Let me show you the inspiration. Where's the inspiration? Oh yeah, here we go. So that's my inspiration. That's what I'm making for my grandson. So I already have all the fabric. So I got all the fabric. I just need to either self-draft or figure out a pattern. But I got everything. right here, all the colors. And then I also got him a green pants and a green top to wear underneath, because if you see this, you'll see it's, I mean, it's not the warmest. So I got him like a green to match this green, the outside of the avocado. I got him a green to match that. So yeah, I'm excited. I got all the colors, and I'll work on the either self-drafting. I took his measurements yesterday, so I'm either going to self-draft, but I feel like I can find something that I can use to be able to make this. And then also, just so that you're aware, I'm going to put a snap or some Velcro at the bottom. So this is not going to be something where it's like pull it up. I'm going to put something at the bottom. I was thinking about making it a jacket, but I was like, I don't think so. He's 3 and he's working on potty training, so I don't want to make it too difficult for him that day. But I feel like this is super cute. It's going to be like a little jacket, avocado jacket, but he's going to recognize it. He will know it's an avocado. He knows it from anywhere, so he's going to get it. So I'm excited to make it. So this is my inspo. And so not next week, but the week after, that is what we'll be doing. So basically the Friday before Halloween, which Halloween is the last Friday of the month of October. So thank you, Risha. Thank you, Armina. Thank you, Diane. Miss Alethea. So yeah, I'm excited about it because I've made his costumes every year since he was born. And so I'm really excited. Yes, Armina. Yes, exactly. I'm excited. I wanted to make, let me show you this is what I was wanting to make for him, but I wanted to make that. That's a pineapple, because he also likes pineapples. That's like, that was his favorite fruit forever, but now he's on this avocado, like everything's avocado. So I'm like, I thought he was going to say dragon fruit or something like that, because that's another one of his favorites, but he kept it simple. I was like, you know what? This is not going to be difficult to make. So yeah, so I just got to figure it out. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making my grandson's Halloween costume, and then I'll figure out what we're going to do next Friday. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So anyway, thank y'all so much for joining, watching, and stay tuned for the link to the pattern, and also for the leather one, which I'm going to make. And I'm probably going to end up, gluing that one together and doing all the things like how they did. So stay tuned for that, because I will definitely keep y'all posted. And then I'm going to let my son pick which one he wants to run with. His race is next Saturday. So he will be carrying one of these on his race. And so we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for joining me every Friday. I look forward to seeing y'all. And I will see y'all next Friday. So stay tuned for what we're going to sew. And if y'all have any suggestions, definitely drop them. Send it to me. I'm open. I don't have anything picked. Y'all know me. I usually have everything lined up, but I don't. I don't. So I'm open. Like, nothing too hard. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Anyway, I will see y'all next Friday, 7:00 Eastern time. And stay tuned for more on this and what we're going to be sewing. And I'm going to be looking for y'all suggestions too. So anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Y'all stay dry. I heard it's going to be raining most of the weekend off and on. So stay dry. Hi, Lynette. Thank you for joining. I will see y'all next Friday. Thank y'all so much. Bye.
Let's get social. Come and sew with me. Let's get social. You know it ain't that hard to do. Let's get social.